Between Death and Life by Dolores Cannon. Did you have the baby? No. I had a difficult time. It just wouldn't come. So I just left my body. Do you know what the baby was? No, it doesn't make any difference. Can you see your body? Yes. Everybody's upset. What are you going to do now? I think I'm going to rest. I've got to come back eventually, but I'm going to stay here a while. I'm in the in-between state. It's restful. Can you tell me where the light is? Where all knowledge and everything is known. Everything is pure and simple. There is more pure truth here. You don't have the things of the world to confuse you. You have the truth on earth, but you just don't see it. But you said you have to come back sometime. How do you know that? I was weak. I should have been able to tolerate the pain. I must learn to better withstand it. I could have stayed if I hadn't been so weak. I'm glad I can't remember the pain. I know I need to go back and I must become complete whole. Pain is one thing I must overcome. I must overcome all the pains of the world. But experienced pain is very human. And it's always difficult to do when you're in the body. From the side you're on now, it's easier to look at it in a different way. Do you think that's a lesson you want to learn? I will, yes. It takes me a while sometimes, but I can do anything. I think I should have been stronger. I would have done better, but I think I had a lot of fear from the illness I had when I was a child. I was afraid that this would be as bad, and I gave up. Pain, when you deal with the higher conscious level of your mind and remove yourself to the pure light and the pure thought, the pain ceases to be. Pain is only a lesson. When we learn about pain on the human level, we get frantic and show outward concern for just a moment. But by removing ourselves and concentrating on reaching deep and having patience, we can rise above it. Does pain have a purpose? Pain is a teaching tool. Sometimes it is used to humble certain people. Sometimes a haughty spirit can be brought down and taught to be more gracious through suffering. It may teach them that they must eventually learn to rise above the pain, and then they can deal with it. Sometimes just understanding pain and why we have it lessens the pain. There is no such thing as dying. You just go on to a different stage of your life. Dying is pleasant. If people are worried about it, tell them to go to a place in the river that has a deep hole. Tell them to dive down to the bottom of the pool and then at the bottom, push up vigorously with their feet and come plunging up to the surface. Tell them it is like that. I think many people are worried that death will be painful. Death is not painful unless you have need of pain. For the most part, there is no pain unless it is wished for. It can be extremely painful if you wish it to be, or if you feel you have need of it in order to teach you a lesson. But you can separate yourself from that at all times. And this is available no matter how connected you are with what is going on. It is available to everyone, the separation of the body and soul during this time of pain. But the actual death itself, the leaving of the body, is that painful? No. The transition is one of ease rather than of duress. Pain comes from the body. The spirit feels no pain except remorse. That is really the only pain that a spirit can feel, a feeling that they could have done something more. This is painful, but physical pain no longer has meaning because that was left with the body. Is it possible to leave the body before actual death occurs and let the body suffer the pain? Yes. The person has that choice whether or not they want to stay there and go through it or if they want to leave and just watch. That is an option that is open to everyone. I personally think it would be easier, especially if it was going to be a traumatic death. This is strictly up to the individual. Can you choose the type of person you will be? You have certain characteristics. You are the sum total of everything you have ever been or done. You are a person. You may be slightly imprinted through your childhood by the people you're around, but that is more of an added element. It doesn't really change you. You are, what you've done, what you've said, what you've thought, how you've lived and handled every situation. You are a sum total of all these things. What about free will? Part of that is each soul has a personality. Because of that, there is free will in the fact that we know how that person will decide in any given situation because they are that person. Based on what they have done in their own past lives, the personality is very predictable. They can prevent certain things from happening just by changing or going against the character, but it's unusual for a person to change that drastically. I thought you meant that these things were set up and that was the way they had to be, that you didn't have anything to say about it. You wouldn't learn unless you made your own decisions. You have to handle your own mistakes. One spirit told me about a golden boat that would go back and forth between the earth plane carrying the souls. Have you ever seen anything like that? Possibly that is her own visualization of what she thought was going on. There are some who say they see golden stairs or a bridge that they walk across. Others just see a large hole of light and they come toward the light. Much of that is individual experience coloring what they think they see, and so that is what occurs. Anything that you can visualize can be real, for you are the master of your own destiny, of your own house, of your own vessel or receptacle, or any other way you wish to perceive the concept of a spirit being in physical body. You are the master of your body, and you are the master of your destiny. You create that which is manifest in front of you. You are co-creator here. That which you find in front of you is of your own making and creation, whether on the physical or spiritual planes. All must attune to this responsibility, for all are co-creators of their manifest destiny. We discovered the Temple of Wisdom, complex on the spirit plane quite by accident. I was working with a young man named John who had been having some physical problems. He wondered if there might be some place in the spirit realm where he could obtain some healing. I was unaware of any place of that nature, but I am always willing to try an experiment to find out. The other information in this book was obtained by subjects in trance who found themselves in the spirit form when they were in the so-called dead state between lives. This time would be different. After John had entered the deep somnambulist level, I purposely directed him to go to the spirit realm and see if he could find a place that dealt with healing, if indeed such a place existed. When I finished counting, John found himself in beautiful ethereal surroundings. He was informed that this was a portion of the Temple of Wisdom, which was a large complex containing several different departments: the Temple of Healing, the Tapestry Room, and the library. I am often disappointed because I cannot also enjoy the visual wonder of what my subjects see. Like a blind person, I must rely on the verbal descriptions of others, and often mere words are inadequate to truly portray the marvels that they find in these other dimensions. I am in the Temple of Healing now. It's a beautiful place. It's a round rotunda, and all these beautiful lights are coming through gem windows that are located up high. Is this unusual for someone who is still in the physical body to come to this place? Yes. The Guardian says not many people afford themselves of this opportunity while in the astral traveling state, but they should, he says. We are here to also be of service to the souls that are still incarnated as well. If they would like to come, we would be happy to welcome them, for always there is a loving energy that goes with all this healing. This is a wondrous, loving place. It's nothing like a hospital, anything like that. It's like a beautiful temple. And above this round rotunda are these gem windows. I'd say they're about 5-6 feet tall, and they're made up of different colored gems. The light pours through them and bounces into the center of the rotunda, and it swirls you with energy. That's where I was. Oh, it's just a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Now the Guardian says, we will talk to you about your health. It's very important to keep a positive sense and to be aware that your spiritual mission is to help and serve others, John. Don't worry about your health problems. They will be manifested out of your body by your positive energy. If you desire to lose the weight, you will. I've never heard of this healing temple before. I thank him for the information. He smiled and said, I'm here always to be of service. This is my mission, my life, my being, not life, being. He's just a warm, radiant, loving energy. His touch is magical. It's like a mother's love. You know, the way a mother cuddles her child. It's that type of love that you feel. He says, this is an opportune place for all souls to gather, whether they are incarnated or disincarnated. He says this service and this area of healing is welcome to all. Many people who use the psychic healing powers should project this image, for they can be healed in this area. He says, now that you have witnessed it and taken part in it, John, it is important for you to describe this place to other people that could use it. That would be a wonderful tool for Dolores to use to help people heal other people. She could guide them through hypnosis into this healing temple where we'll take over and help. So this would be a wonderful service that Dolores could use. And by giving and sharing in this area, she'll also grow. This is the message that he has for you, Dolores. So what is the purpose of reincarnation? To correct what you did in the past? The purpose is to learn more, to always learn more, for never can you learn all there is to know in one simple lifetime. The purpose of living again is not to correct, but to add to. Your knowledge cannot be complete with one simple lifetime. Many lifetimes must be lived to enable you to completely understand those lessons which you yourself assign to yourself. There is no stern taskmaster with whip and shovel in hand, ready to bury your body and punish you on the other side, and then return you to this land of displeasure. The experiences of life and rebirth should be viewed with a more positive outlook. That is one of learning and loving, and not of punishment and sorrow. It is all an attitude. For that which you create, you live, and that which you live, you create. What about suicides? Yes, those are very tragic cases, for this is truly one of the saddest truths which exist. There's simply no words to describe the situation in all its entirety. The suicide must come to the realization of the gravity of what he has done, for there is not simply the breaking of the contract. The individual soul energy is thrown into complete disharmony. The suicides, depending on what shape they're in, sometimes go to the hospital and sometimes to the contemplation area. More times than not, one or two entities are assigned to this person to explain why it is extremely wrong to take life. To take the life of self is the only thing that can truly be considered upon this side to be sin, because life is so precious. These people are confused and mixed up about what life is really all about and what they need to accomplish. They are not able to see the solutions they can work out with the karma they have on hand. I know you have difficulty with our concept of time, but how much time has evolved before a suicide finds release? This varies from individual case to case. Each soul does not learn at the same rate as the other. It depends upon that soul's confusion and feelings of worthlessness and loss more than any other thing. Suicide is not forgiven lightly, but it can be worked out. It is not impossible to be worked out, like some would have you think. Nothing is impossible to work out. It's just that some things take longer than others because some things are more complicated. Yes, the killing of self is the ultimate wrong because that throws the karma out of balance. Killing yourself, murdering yourself, that's not working out any karma. That's creating more karma. Some people commit suicide to escape a problem. To commit suicide to escape a problem just amplifies that problem that they will have to live through again. They are not escaping anything. They are just making it worse upon themselves. They are really not solving anything. They are simply creating more problems. Suicide is no solution. You said we are all God, yet we are here on earth. Yet we here on earth all have faults. We are not perfect. If we are part of God, wouldn't that make him imperfect? This is merely a misunderstanding of the word imperfect. All that is God, but God is perfect, therefore all is perfect. What we perceive as imperfect is merely our perceptions. Our perceptions are not necessarily the same, even on other parts of the world. So what we perceive cannot be held as absolute. What we perceive as imperfect is not necessarily so when viewed on the God level. Imperfections are human, but God loves imperfections as surely as he loves perfections. Vocalization is highly effective, but you should include more visualization. See more fully and do not rely so heavily on simply the spoken word. For although the spoken word is in truth a creation of energies, it is much more efficient for you if you truly visualize and see in your mind's eye exactly that which you wish. For this is in fact creation. See yourself enveloped in a pyramid of white energy surrounding perhaps the entire building you are in, or whatever you feel most comfortable with. If it is used in this way, all within its space would be included in this white energy. Encourage all who participate to co-create, and in so doing, the energies become stronger. It would be very simple to describe a pyramid surrounding those present and ask that each simply visualize this pyramid of white shimmering energy such that no dis-creative energies may enter from the outside. Ask that all dis-creative energies within be transformed and aligned into the creative energies of the universe. It would also be appropriate at that time to ask for any healing which would be required of those in the assembly. Ask that the discreative energies within the assembly, which cause these physical manifestations of illness, be turned to the white light and aligned and turned back to the universe in a creative manner. In this way, those present will assist in the healing of whoever wishes it. Energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be converted from negative to positive. Anyone can create this pyramid of white light and surround themselves with it. If created in this way, any discreative energies which come near the pyramid will be returned to the universe to be transformed into creative and constructive energies. Any discreative energies within the pyramid will be bathed in this white light and will automatically be converted into harmonious, constructive, and creative energies. Visualize the entire pyramid completely enveloped and full of this white light, and all this creative energies within could be visualized as darkness in the light. Simply see the light changing the darkness, raising the darkness to light, or turning the darkness into light. In turn, the darkness becomes light and is no longer discreative, but is again constructive energy, which is returned to the universe for constructive and creative purposes. All have the ability to create this white light energy around them. They need only affirm to themselves the desire to do this. They must truly want this in order to believe it. For if the individual is not firmly of the belief of what they desire, there will be limited success with this. I have heard people say that you should ask for protection in the name of Jesus. Is this as effective? That is accurate. It is, in fact, entirely the same principle at work here, simply different ways of stating this principle. There are many ways this energy could be directed thusly according to the individual's religious beliefs. However, many are aligned with one particular manner more so than another. It is simply a matter of appropriateness and personal preference. It is entirely up to the individual as to how effective any one matter would be.